Hi everyone, welcome back to No Bull Book Review, a program where we talk all about the books without the bull. This is the first episode for the 2017 season. I hope you had a spectacular start to the year. My name is June, I'm really excited to be back, so let's get rolling! I'm always very excited to feature Asian writers, and I'm exceptionally proud when it's a Malaysian author. Zen Cho was born and raised in Malaysia. She is the Crawford Award-winning author of a short story collection entitled Spirits Abroad. She has been nominated for the Campbell Award for Best New Writer and honor-listed for the Carl Brandon Society Awards. The Carl Brandon Society's mission is to increase racial and ethnic diversity in the production of and audience for speculative fiction. Sorcerer to the Crown, Zen Cho's debut novel, won the British Fantasy Award for Best Newcomer and was also a finalist at the Locus Award for Best First Novel. Sorcerer to the Crown is set in 1800s London, and it features Zacharias, the first African sorcerer royal. But all is not well. Britain is running out of magic and no one really knows why. His detractors are inclined to blame him just because he's different, he's not English, and the circumstances about how he actually became sorcerer royal is a little bit murky. Here's Zen Cho reading an excerpt from her book.
So the first scene takes place when Zacharias is actually around 6 years old, and he's brought into the Royal Society of Unnatural Philosophers to display his talents. Zacharias had rehearsed the enchantment he was to perform many times under Sir Stephen's patient tutelage. The night before, he had fallen asleep reciting the formula to himself. Yet now, as he was surrounded by a crowd of strange faces, oppressed by the consciousness of being the focus of his attention, memory deserted him. His terrified gaze swung from Sir Stephen's kind face, skipped over the audience and roamed over the great hall, as if he might find the words of the spell waiting for him in some dusty corner. It was the oldest room in the society and boasted several interesting features, chief of which were the ancient carved bosses in the ceiling. These represented lambs, lions, and unicorns, faces of long-dead sorcerers, and green men with sour expressions and vines sprouting from their nostrils. At any other time, they would have captivated Zacharias, but right now they could give him no pleasure. "I've forgotten the spell," he whispered. "What is that?" said Sir Stephen. He had been speaking in clear, ringing tones before, addressing his audience, but now he lowered his voice and leaned closer.
I love attending book readings by authors, don't you? Otherwise, all books are being read by Morgan Freeman and Dame Maggie Smith in my head. Do you have that problem? Well, write to me, give me some comments, let me know what it's like for you.
He spoke the spell under his breath, still a little uncertain after the agonies he had endured. But magic came. Ever his friend Magic answered his call. The birds carved upon the box blushed red, green, blue, and yellow, and he knew that the spell had caught. The birds peeled away from the box as they took on substance and being, their wings springing away from their bodies, feathers sprouting upon their flesh. They flew up to the ceiling, squawking. The breeze from their wings brushed Zacharias' face, and he laughed. One by one, the carved bosses sprang to life, and the dead sorcerers, and the sour old green men, and the lions, and the lambs, and the birds opened their mouths, all of them singing lustily Zacharias' favorite song, drowning out the angry voices of the men below, and filling the room with glorious sound. Thanks very much. The cat kind of stole the show.
While Zacharias takes on the heavy responsibility as Sorcerer Royal, his path leads him to meet an ambitious orphan named Prunella. She is of mixed parentage and is full of magic. Together they break all the rules and change the game of sorcery forever. One of the things that I really love about this book is the language that it's written in. It is so quaint and so beautiful. There is a mix of Eastern and Western culture with an underlying thread of deeper issues like class distinction, gender and race discrimination. And I know that some of you who have read the book or know a little bit about the story is wondering how the gender bite made it into the story. Here's Zen Cho explaining that.
Like fairly early on in the book, there's like a Malay witch, which turns out her name is Mak Gengang, and she comes from like a small fictional island called Jandabaik. There's a real Jandabaik, it's in Pahang, and I just thought it was such a great name, and I stole it from my little fictional island. And she basically comes and causes a lot of trouble in London.
So is this book a woo or a boo, as in woohoo, it was really good, and boohoo, not so much? This book is a triple woo. So run out and get yourself a copy. I assure you, you will enjoy this story very much. This is my copy of Sorcerer to the Crown, which I got from Books Actually in Singapore. A big thank you to Kenny and his team at Books Actually Singapore. As you can see, it is signed by the author herself. She gave me a little smiley face, signed at Books Actually in Singapore. And what we have here is the Sorceress. Yep, and she's got a bonnet on, and she's got a scarf on as well. And the stars, as you can see, all the stars represent magic. That's all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to click like, share and subscribe. Connect with us on Facebook. Give us your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until I see you again, remember to keep reading, because reading helps you to be better. Noble, ciao!
I'm soaking from the rain as I stand and wait.